For me, I'm more interested in hearing your thoughts on Indiana Jones because you were pretty big on the like, I don't think I'm gonna like this, and then you were like, you know what? Like I saw you talking about it in Discord, and you're like, this is actually a lot better than I thought, and I am kind of digging this. Um,
Yeah.
so
I downloaded, I sacrificed the hundred and however many gigs, and I downloaded Indiana Jones and the Big Circle or whatever Donkey called it. And so yeah, like going into this game, I thought it was weird they were going first person. I thought it was a weird choice
mhm,
for Machine Games to be making it. If you don't know, they made the Wolfenstein games. It's kind of what they're known for most recently.
mhm,
And then there was also the like uncanny blend of Indiana Jones looking like Harrison Ford, but having a Troy Baker impression, good impression of Harrison Ford behind it. And then you can kind of see some of like Troy Baker's mannerisms and stuff in the mocap a little bit. So all of
mhm.
it just seemed kind of odd for this game, like leading up to it. Then previews were positive, reviews were positive. Everybody who played it was like, actually, this game slaps. And I was like, okay. And so finally, I think a friend of the show, Caleb, had talked about how he had played it. And
Mhm.
so Dylan and I kicked around, well, maybe we'll check it out. And if we like it, we'll talk about it on the show, do an episode. And it opens up really strong. It opens up
Mhm.
basically with the like, the idol swap from
Yeah.
Raiders. And it looks gorgeous. And like everybody else has said who's played it up to this point, like they lean more into like environmental puzzle solving and like exploring kind of sandbox locations more than it being like a action game.
Mhm.
But I was surprised how well the stealth and the whip mechanics and the like punching worked. Like
Mhm.
it had really good like audio and like weight behind it. So basically, you can just punch dudes. And I think I have a pistol,
Excellent.
but I haven't really used the pistol much. Classic indie, but you can just like punch dudes, and you can pick up things around the environment like bottles and
Mhm.
like fly swatters and just whatever kind of random crap you can find. And usually those have like a couple hits before they break. Then you can pick up
Mhm.
like sledgehammers and like shovels and things, and those are like a little bit beefier. So you don't really have a weapon on you. You're kind of picking stuff up in the environment, but you're trying to be stealthy as often as you can and just like sneak up on dudes. And so story wise and vibes and atmosphere, like they nailed. This is
Mhm.
the best Indiana Jones sequel movie we've gotten ever. Like since the original
Yeah.
trilogy, like I feel like this knocks out, from what I've played, it knocks out the other attempts they've made at doing Indiana Jones stuff. So they
Mhm.
definitely got that part right, and Machine Games did very, like, they were very smart in how they designed it, and I was very surprised just how much more kind of like simmy it is. They really, like, you play through a pretty linear intro section, then you end up in like this it's not, it's like kind of like a castle. I can't remember exactly what
Mhm.
kind of building it is. And so you're like sneaking in, you're trying to get through it to like get into the main city. And that level is still pretty small, but like you can kind of go around that whole map, and there's locked doors, and you can find the keys to unlock them, to find different routes. You can go through like a lower door and then climb all the way up to the top of a tower to get back on the wall that loops back around to where you started the level, and then you can like go through a door that was locked before and go down. And so it's like very smart level design. And then when you get through that and you open up into sort of like the first actual hub, I guess, that you are existing in,
Mhm.
it was a lot more of like, okay, here's the office where your like ally is, that's he and Indy are friends, and they're giving each other information back and forth. And then he's like, oh well, now that we have such and such a thing, you should go over here and check this out. And you leave and you go down the steps and you walk through a library full of, because he's like a member of the Catholic Church. I want to say bishop, but I don't think he's a bishop. What? But yeah, you get the idea. So you're there and you're passing nuns and you have like an outfit of like a priest that you can wear to disguise yourself, and then you like go out and then there's all these like there's like military fascist camps kind of in that area with you, and so some, if they're like a captain, they can see through your disguise, but if they're not, then they won't. And similarly, the game like kind of gives you a point to go to, and it's like, okay, do I want to just walk straight there on the floor? Do I want to like climb up the scaffolding to get on the wall and go like this way? And so it's just a lot more of that like exploration and open-ended like mission structure stuff that you think of in like a Dishonored or something, as opposed to when you think of Indiana Jones in video game form, you know, obviously the natural kind of the first thing that pops in your head is Tomb Raider and Uncharted, because you know, the very much in the same ilk. And this game took a wildly different approach that I think paid off. I mean, everybody that's played this game has spoken positively about it. For me, it's the thing where it's still not my type of game necessarily. I had a good time with what I've played, but I played for probably like 3 or 4 nights and then I put it down and haven't really gone back to it. It's still installed, but I wouldn't be surprised if I never finish this game.
Yeah.
But like what I played was like, oh wow, okay, I see their vision and they nailed it. Like what they did is super high quality and a super solid version of that thing that they were going for. And it made me like, I really enjoyed the Wolfenstein games, but now Machine Games is one of those studios where when I hear that they're making something, I'm going to be like, I'll probably check that out, even if it doesn't seem like on paper that it's going to be good or going to be for me, because they seem to know, like they seem to have it going on.
Yeah. Because I think I installed one of the Wolfenstein games and played a little bit of it, but I was playing something else at that time and just didn't stick with it. But like, are those semi puzzly, or are those just like, my impression was they were very, because I saw this game, like the Indiana Jones game, and I guess I assume, like, I know that it's Machine Games, but a big part of me kept assuming that it was like Arcane, you know, because that's the style that it looks.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, no, it's Machine. It's the Wolfenstein guys. And so I had to like be like, did I just not get past the tutorial on Wolfenstein? Does it turn into this? Like, I don't know. I assumed those were always kind of like Doom-esque shooters, you know?
Yeah, Wolfenstein is much more like run and gun. Like there are some puzzly kind of moments, but it's much more go through the level, get some crazy set pieces. Like where Wolfenstein is awesome, is similar to Doom, and like just you being kind of overpowered and having crazy weapons and set pieces and stuff going up against what feel like insurmountable odds. But then it's also the like alternate history sci-fi stuff. Like in the second game, it just goes absolutely bananas with like even just your main character. He should not be alive, but the way they write him back into being alive is just absolutely insane. And that's like the first 10 minutes of the game. So that's kind of like their claim to fame, is like really crazy writing and set pieces and just weird sci-fi, like alternate history stuff and like gore. This is much more like, this feels like they watched the original Indiana Jones movies and said like, what is the heart of this? And then they nailed that. And it looks amazing. And like the indie model, like I got more used to it as I was playing. They obviously were going for Harrison Ford, but it's like there's just enough kind of stylization to it that it's not as weird. And then Troy Baker's voice, like I still hear Troy Baker, but it's good, and it's, you know, after playing for a few minutes, like I kind of settled in and was like, you know, this is good. But like the environments look amazing, the like cutscenes and stuff look great, and so they really, they nailed it. And so
Yeah.
It's one that I feel
Yeah.
like I'll probably check back into. Basically what happened was like I got to a point where I like solved this puzzle to get into this cavern, and then I got into the cavern and kind of fell down into some water, and then when I got out of the water it was just like this big room that was basically like all puzzle. It was like, now this room is what you're going to be doing for the next however long. And I was like, all right, that's enough for tonight. Cause I don't know what time it was, but it was like, that was it for me for the night. And then like, I haven't felt like going back and doing that puzzle. So it's like, it still isn't my, like, I'm much more into the action side of video games. And so they did a really good job with what they were doing. That thing still isn't, similar to 33 Immortals, is still not like my go-to video game style and genre, but I'll keep it installed until I like desperately need the space, and then I'll kind of have that conversation with myself about like, am I gonna finish this game, or did I like did I see what I needed to see to be like, yeah, they did the thing, I'm happy for them, I'm proud of them, I'm glad this is a success, but I I got enough for me. We'll see.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So yeah, that was my experience with Indiana Jones